Rise and energize.
I hope people don't think it's like a workout plan. Because it sounds like that a little bit. I was like, it hit me yesterday, like, oh, I hope people don't think we're working out. We're not working out.
No, it's
That's not the energized part.
No. Figuring out what energizes us and takes away from energy, yes. Working
Oh my
out,
gosh.
that'll be after this.
Yesterday I saw a post about people who are energy drains and how it's okay to like start to separate yourself from that person. It's not a bad thing. And I think it's hard because some of those people that are energy drains are in our own families. And so it's like the post was basically like, it's okay, they'll have to understand that, you know, you're not for everyone and they're not for everyone. And sometimes realizing that it's a person that's draining your energy. Sometimes we have to separate ourselves, right? Like it's just a tough thing. It could be a parent. It could be a child. You can't really separate yourself from a kid though, unfortunately.
I was going to say, give yourself a timeout for 5 minutes, you know? But I think that's a great concept to dive into today is so, you know, Rachel, you're working with someone's on your team, there's a vendor, there's a collaborator, right? We know this word collaborator gets thrown around often. And you know, you've got to separate yourself from it. How do you do it? How have you done it in the past, Rachel? Someone's drained your energy, you've made aware, you came to the Rise and Energize session where we talk about this in the community, we talk about and dive deep into people's situations and scenarios. How do you get away from that situation and scenario when someone's draining your energy?
If it's with a client, I'll generally say, hey, you know what? I feel like there's somebody else that might be better suited to be able to help you. And I think that you can't be scared to say no to potential clients too. I think there's a lot of times where I'm just not your person and you're just not mine. And unfortunately, it's a sucky conversation. But once you cut that cord, it feels a lot better, right? So we have to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and having those uncomfortable conversations. But I'm not just going to, you know, be an ass and say like, I just don't like you. I'm going to try to come up with a solution to solve the problem. Now, if it's a vendor, right? Like, I think that's a little bit harder where like you're in a situation where maybe that's your only option. But you just start looking at who else can fill the need that is better aligned with your energy. I don't know. You'd have to speak to more to working with vendors and clients in that capacity. But for me, and honestly, sometimes the universe will take care of it. Where I'm just like, I guess this person is just draining my energy. And you know them. They're on your calendar. You see them on your calendar and you're like, oh God, like really? But a lot of times the universe will just be like, all of a sudden that person's schedule will change or they just don't have the funding anymore. And so a lot of times magically, like when I'm really like, set on this is not working out. This is not working out for me. Universe, do something about it. Generally, I'll find that the energy will shift between both of us and it will take care of itself. But it's really getting comfortable with having that uncomfortable conversation. But I always just try to figure out like who else can help you? Who else would you be better aligned with?
Totally. Such a great point to make because ultimately no one wants to look at their calendar and feel a type of way before a meeting even happens, right? I think in my situation, and I'll dive into something more recently the last week, onboarded a client, helping them with some of their marketing. We talked about scope of work. We talked about services. We talked about communication and when we're going to meet, how often we're going to meet, and how long we're going to meet for. And text messages every single day asking me questions, even though we're meeting twice a week. So we're meeting 2 times in the same week for an hour. And those questions are expected to be answered because there's been follow-up, right? So I'm all for, and I tell clients this, right? Like, send me the text message, send me our ideas. I just met with a client yesterday. She's like, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. I'm like, we got kids, text us. Like we're not going to respond. Right. But I want to see that thread. So when we do meet on Monday, we can dive into it and I'm in your brain at a certain level and I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to work on that and spend a couple hours before we meet. Because as you know, consulting or working with clients, it doesn't just happen in the meeting. There's always prep. There's always hours. There's always, where we're going to drive this meeting. So to not go into all those details, that's very draining for me because there's text message of, did you get my text message? Did you, what do you think about this? Hey, I'm going to post this piece of content tonight. I really want to hear from you. And that drains my energy because it's not just throwing stuff at me so we can discuss it. It's, I want an immediate response. And that would be more of a fractional CMO role, right? Where I would come in and be attentive to your organization and your matters daily, but that comes at a 3x ticket price, right?
Yes.
So you have all these situations and scenarios, and maybe you've experienced them if you're listening. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you've been on the other end. But what I had to do was just ask a simple question of, would you like to change our agreement? And that was enough for me to put up my boundary and to not say, stop texting me or stop asking or stop setting new expectations, because I didn't want immediate confrontation. But I just asked, would you like to change our agreement? And he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, our agreement is to meet twice weekly. Would you like to meet daily? And he said, yeah. He said, yes, I would like to meet daily. So we're drafting a new proposal. And the reason why I share that is because old Jim would have been frustrated, pissed off, and never addressed it. And I think the biggest opportunity we have every day when something's not working out, when something feels like it's jaded or jagged, or there's a lot of friction, or there's just resistance, I usually would just maybe go to my partner and voice my opinion. I would, am I doing something wrong? I'd start to look inward, and nowadays it's just ask a simple question, because we absorb all that worry, all that anxiety, all that negativity, and we hold on to it. And it's like, oh, I'm so frustrated. All I had to do was just ask a question, and I didn't assume. That's what I've learned too, right? It's like, rather than assuming, hey, you've been blowing me up, we should change this program to $7,000 a month based on how much communication you want. That's me assuming that they want that and they're not aware of their actions. All I did was ask and say, hey, would you like to change our agreement? Yeah. What do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, we can talk every day. We have this other program that we do. We have one client that's in it. He loves it because it's literally every day. We work with their team. We work with them, and we have pockets, right? Like we have a certain check-in time. And just by asking that question, that was what the client wanted and needed. And maybe they sign the agreement, maybe they don't, right? Maybe we negotiate. Maybe there's some hybrid model in the middle, but I had to ask the question of, would you like to change the agreement? Which was me putting up boundaries without being aggressive. And
but that's today's special word is boundaries, right? Like legitimately boundaries are so important. And I'm so proud of you for realizing like what your boundary was, because again, you could have just kept going and then getting angry and angrier, right? Then you would have hated seeing him on your calendar. But boundaries are so super, super important. And I think that's today's like lesson. Let's start thinking about that today. Like, what are the boundaries? Who is draining my energy? And then how can we get comfortable with being uncomfortable of having that conversation? And then what is the conversation, right? Exactly what Jim talked about. Do we just go over the contract and just say, hey, if this is what you're looking for, this is the level of impact that is on financially. Or maybe we're just not each other's person. Boundaries are so important. And I think a lot of us, especially for solopreneurs, are just starting out. We have a tendency to just keep moving forward, right? Because we're like, oh, the paycheck, right? We just want the money. Money's not that important, right? Saying a no to somebody leaves open a yes for somebody that aligns with you better. And I think that everybody needs to start remembering that today. Like, where's your boundary? Who's draining that energy, and get comfortable with having that uncomfortable conversation, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think boundaries are tough for everybody, right? Because we ebb and flow, we live in different seasons, businesses, economic times, ups, downs, lefts, rights. I mean, you name it.
Right.
But I think it's super important because that boundary is a line in the sand and it defines who you are. And when you step more into who you are and you step into a life where you continue to walk the walk that satisfies you and warms your heart, then you're in a position to be unstoppable. And that's really where I find the biggest energy gains and the energy loss is when I don't have the boundaries. And when I do, I'm on fire because I'm dialed. Everything relates to the core message. Everything relates back to the strategy. Everything relates back to what I've built and where I want to go. And when I'm aligned and those boundaries or walls are put up, then magic seems to happen. The level of confidence, the level of clarity enhances. And it's funny, right? Because we started the conversation about talking about energy gains and losses, but look where we just ended up in 10 minutes. We're starting to navigate just even deeper thoughts around your business, where you're going, your vision. Alignment is so important in energy because if you're vibrating high and someone's bringing you down, well, now you're going the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
um my cousin recently texted me. She is part of Impact Effect community. She got introduced to Impact Effect at this last conference we had in October, and it changed her life. It changed her life. And we've been kind of going back and forth, and her impact is now helping others. And one of the things that she started to do was to put up those boundaries and remove herself from people or things that completely kill her energy. So now she's helping people, she's working with others, she's quit her job, she's traveling, she's looking for a career that satisfies her heart, that allows her to be who she is around the people she wants to be. And it's just an amazing story. One, because it's family, and what my work is doing is helping family, which warms my heart. I mean, like, I could show you the text messages. I'm like about to tear up about it. But more importantly, it's just another great example of boundaries and protecting your energy and exemplifying your energy. And there's so many distractions. There's so many things coming at us in the world. If you don't know where you're going, you're just drifting. And when you're drifting, you're going from high to low energy levels. But what we really want you to do, especially in Impact Effect community, for high efficiency, high output, deep relationship building, clarity, being dialed in, is to have those boundaries so you're navigating the lane directly towards where you want to go and you're not drifting.
Well, and you have a community to sort of help you through that fear, right? Because fear is the thing really that stops most of us. Like, we're scared to lose the money. We're scared to have that confrontation. We're scared. And so that fear often allows us to have our boundaries stepped on, right? That fear often allows us to continue with those energy drains because, like, maybe we'll have that uncomfortable conversation tomorrow. When you have a community like Impact Effect, you could come into the community and say, I don't know what to do, right? And we can help you literally every step of the way and hold your hand. We can't have the conversation for you. We can't say the no for you. We can't negotiate for you, but we can definitely get you over, number one, the fear, right? The fear of whatever it is. And then number two, really start to see your value. I think once you make that mindset shift, because everything is a mindset shift, right? Into like, your time is valuable. You are valuable. If this person is completely draining that energy, let's focus on the gains and like cut the dead weight. It's okay to say no. It's okay that you are not on the same page. It's really, fear stops so many of us, so many business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, creators. And Impact Effect will help you sort of get over that fear because you've got a ton of other people in this community that have been through it before.
And I mean, we can go down a whole rabbit hole of fear.
We don't have time today.
Um,
We're going to meet today at 1:00, right? Well, 1:00 Eastern, 12:00 Central, 12, 11, 10. 11, 10. Time clock time is my Achilles heel. 10, 11, 12, 1. So 10 a.m. Pacific. But it's our very first momentum hour where we're going to sort of just have open office hours. So we can actually talk about this more. So if you guys have questions, bring questions to that. Jim, how do people join our community? Let's do a little bit of a CTA. I mean, we earned it.
ImpactEffectCommunity.com. It's on the banner below right there. Check it out. We built some really cool stuff, and we've put a lot of heart and soul into this. As you know, I've been trying to figure out the best offering for the community, and all the people that have enjoyed our events, our seminars, our webinars, our virtuals, and really want to up level and just give more back to the community. I believe that ideas that are genius die without resources. And we want to be that resource for you to continue the journey, continue the impact, and navigate a crazy business world and also a crazy life, right? Things are changing rapidly in our personal lives and in our business. And we want to be there to support you, give you an opportunity to navigate some of those challenges alongside of other members, alongside of producer Rachel and myself. And we're doing something unique. There's a lot of heart and soul in this. This isn't just a bullshit community where you come in and you sell your product or service. This isn't a lead source unless you show up wholesome, humble, and impact others, right? That's the best lead. You are the best lead magnet. And that's what we want to exemplify and make sure that we are providing the resources that you need. Again, that you need. I'm so sick of the education world around business that jams shit down your throat that has nothing to do with what your core strategy or vision is. We just talked about this in energy gains and energy drains, right? If you're not going down the right path or going towards that big goal, most likely it's going to drain you. Impact Effect is the opposite. We want to collaborate with you, understand exactly what you need, where you're at, and help you get there. And here's the thing. We don't know it all. So we bring in amazing experts and subject matter experts to help teach those things. And we take your feedback and go navigate relationships because, you know, we all understand how important deep human connection is. And we bring those resources to you. You know, when you were talking earlier, Rachel, we were talking about fear. And I know we're not going to go into it today, but Dr. Justin Mosley did a TED Talk, just hit 400,000 views. It's his second TED Talk. He's find him in Forbes, find him in all the channels, entrepreneur, all of it. And he's going to be in our community and he's going to be pouring into you. You know, he's called the Mindset Doctor, and his TED Talks around fear and excitement and how they feel the same. So how cool is it going to be to hear from Dr. Justin in our community, knowing that he just crushed a TED Talk and is changing lives all over the world. And we have him right in front of us in a situation and scenario where we can ask deep questions and build a relationship. Like, what we're building is something unique and different. And we are breaking the mold and bringing back the truth around what the word community means. Not this digitalized bullshit, Alex Hermosi school games. Like, that's not what we're doing here.
Jim went there.
We're changing
Damn,
lives.
Jim.
Like, this isn't a fucking game. This is people's business, and this is people's lives and livelihood. And yeah, there's gamification features and leaderboard. And if you're in there commenting and doing all this stuff and loving on everybody, we're going to love on you even harder. Like, we get it. We're going to use that feature, but this isn't to drum up my personal brand. This isn't to, put Jim on a pedestal or producer Rachel. This is for us to get on the same level as every single member individually and pour our friggin' hearts out in hopes that we can have a tiny, tiny piece of positive impact in your world. So come join us. Let's get it. I'm getting excited. It's like 6:15. I'm not even a full cup of coffee in. I'm about to run through the wall talking about impact effect this morning. Talk about energy, baby. Let's go.
All right. So today's homework is, who is draining your energy? Like, literally, you guys are getting ready for work right now. You're getting ready for all the things. So who on your calendar did you see that today or this week that you were like, ugh? And then how can you set a boundary? Right? How can we, get over that fear and figure out a way to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and either having the conversation and figuring out how to offload them or set the boundary with them, right? Whether it's in business or personal, right? There's certain things that just drain our energy. There's certain people that drain our energy every day. And you don't need to start your day out looking at your calendar thinking, ugh, that person, right? And then if you want to join Impact Effect Community, it's super easy, impacteffectcommunity.com. It'll take you seconds. There's a form to fill out just so that we know more about you and what your goals are. That's literally what the form is for. So super easy. We'd love to see you in the community. If otherwise, I will see you today at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central, 10 a.m. Pacific for open office hours, which we call momentum hours, to sort of co-work together, answer any questions, and sort of get you some momentum in your day and your week.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Cheers, y'all.